So, good evening, colleagues. I am Marilyn Franklin, the famous traveler and author. We are here to touch upon the problems of big cities, overpopulation, air pollution, and city development. And my responsibility for today is a table discussion devoted to the environmental issues in New York City. As you know, my experience in that area is wide enough. The environmental issues in New York City are affected by the city size, density, abundant public transportation infrastructure, and location at the mouth of the Hudson River. Concentrated pollution in New York City provokes a large number of cases of asthma and other respiratory conditions. In recent years, the city has focused on reducing its environmental impact. So, for example, the city government is required to utilize only the most efficient equipment in offices and public housing, such as lights, refrigerators, air conditioners, copy machines, and the white power. So the city is also a leader in energy-efficient green office buildings. The next point about public transit. So public transit is dominant for New Yorkers, and scientists ascertain the following results. 1 person among every 3 users of mass transit in the USA, and 2/3 of the nation's rail riders live in New York and its suburbs. The high rate of transit preserves half of all the oil saved by transit nationwide. It means that a huge number of carbon dioxide pollution was kept out of the air. And the city has taken resourceful arrangements to fit special facilities at diesel city buses to reduce pollution. And every year New York uses more and more alternative fuel, electric vehicles, biodiesel, and so on. About watershed. The watershed of the city is in one of the largest protected wilderness areas in the USA. The water filtration process still remains reliable, so as a result, New York utilizes drinking water pure enough to require only chlorination. However, all groundwater is treated with different cleaning agents. There is a disgusting garbage problem in New York City. The main garbage landfill was closed in the city in 2001. As a result, most of the city's garbage was trucked out of the city to landfills in other states. It cost a huge number of trucks. Later, a new plan of garbage experts had been developed, which use barges and trains for this purpose. There is another disturbing problem in New York. The environmentalists informed about lead paint in old housing stock, which is ongoing, the health public issue. So all these urban problems in New York are being faced by citizens every day, and a lot of them show their active citizenship position and their efforts to solve the challenges. So according to the BBC News magazine, for example, first of all, a special lab was opened in Manhattan, and according to the BBC News magazine, Marini Kanor, who was helped developing the lab, says that the aim is to be a forum for discussion of ideas about the challenges of urban living, to understand how cities work, and to give us a sense of ownership to change things and improve things if we need to. So the lab offers such urban actions as lectures, new technology demonstrations, film screenings, and games. According to another document, the New York Times, a lot of New Yorkers see the city becoming a national symbol of urban ills a place where people sleep in the boxes, and the number of homeless people grows every day. So people donate money to the Neediest Cases Fund to help the city rise from its economic troubles. So as you can see, the life of Metropolis has its own laws, and I try to ascertain the solutions to these problems, to discuss the role of government, social activities, environmentalists, and ordinary people living in New York to face into these solutions. And I believe this information will be useful for us, the participants of today's discussion. Devoted to the energy saving in the USA. Thank you. Colleagues, if you have any questions, just ask me.
So 2 minutes for a couple of questions.
Dear Madam, can you compare the environmental situation in New York with other cities of USA?
Yes, of course. I'm a famous traveler, and I used to travel a lot. Of course, I used to see a lot of big cities and their problems, and of course, usually I compare the problems of these cities. And you know, New York is my favorite city, and I try to find out the most interesting things in this case.
Do you know, tell us please what you think, or do you think about how it's possible to solve the problem of growing amount of homeless people in big cities?
Immediately, it's not impossible, of course, because it's a very global problem, and first of all, we should to solve the problem in a law of government, in social questions. But New York's government tried to do it, yes, of course, and I hope the number of homeless people is becoming low.
Do you know how the government of the USA involves citizens, American citizens, to solve this problem, ecological problem, and how to do it in a successful way?
Do you mean ordinary people, or?
I mean how the American government involve American citizens
This program?
yes, to be closer with this program.
Each of the cities has its own problems, and of course the solution to these problems go from the government, and the cities must have the money to solve the problems, and of course all the cities are included in these problems.
Of course, thanks. I have a little bit more. I have another point of view for this problem. I think it's not enough to have money. I think the government should change mind of Americans.
If you have the concrete problems, usually it goes according to the concrete program. But if you want to draw attention of ordinary people living for example, in the city. Of course, it goes from promotion, environmental promotion.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.